This is an argument we've been having for several years now, all the way back to the Galaxy S8 Plus. Should the Note series exist now that we have the S Plus line? Hey there friends on YouTube, my name is Jason, sometimes known as the JTL. This is Painfully Honest Tech, so honest it hurts. This is your first time here, thank you so much for stopping by. If you've been here before, thank you so much for coming back. I really do appreciate it. It gives me a warm, snuggly feeling. And if you've been here before, same things, warm, snuggly feeling. Now, let's talk about this. The Galaxy S series and the Galaxy Note series at the beginning of their existence were way different than one another. The S series was a smaller phone. It seemed like, just the right size. One of these things, it's like the porridge with Little Red Riding Hood, right? Then when the Note series came, of course, everybody made tons of fun of the Note series because, they had tablets that they would put to their ears and stuff. And it was a big phone. It was the first really big phone. Most people thought the Note series was going to fail. They thought it was ridiculous. Well, fast forward 7 or 8 years, 8 years, 9 years, whatever it is. Fast forward that many years, and the Note series has not only caught on, but has become one of the flagship phones that people look forward to every year. But in 2017, when Samsung introduced the S8 Plus, things got a little murkier. The S8 Plus, the S9 Plus, the S10 Plus are arguably virtually the same phone as the Note series without the S Pen and the additional functionality that the S Pen brings to the table. There are always these conversations that you hear with people saying, well, I bought the Note whatever and then I never used the S Pen. I mean, I feel like that is a failure of the person who bought the phone to actually make an effort to utilize the features that the phone offers, but that's a conversation maybe for another video. There's not that much difference between the S10 and what we know the Note 10 is going to be. Yes, we'll have a little bit different stuff here and there. The Note might improve on a few things. The Note 10 is not going to be wildly improved over the S10, which just came out a few months ago. And this is a problem if you consider it a problem. This is a problem that Samsung has been having really every year since the S8 Plus. They have to find reasons to justify that the Note 10 should exist. But are those reasons there? It's likely not going to have much of a camera improvement. It's likely not going to have the same kind of battery life that the S10 Plus does, because the S10 Plus, of course, doesn't have all the bells and whistles that the Note 10 is going to have. So in my experience with the S10 Plus, battery life was at least a day and a half, possibly 2 days if I wasn't using the phone a ton. And that is more than enough for most people in the world, right? The Note 10 is mainly going to have a slightly bigger battery and more powerful charging brick in the box with another charging brick. 25 watts in the box. I know a lot of people complain that I didn't mention that when I was complaining about how Samsung was pulling Apple things, but yes, they're putting a pretty decent charger in the box. However, they're selling a much better charger at a premium over top of all that. To me, that's a little shady. But again, we've talked about that before. The Note 10 is going to, of course, have the S Pen, and the S Pen has improved to a certain extent over the past few years. Last year we got remote control for the camera and that sort of thing, and it's not fully known whether or not there'll be any additional features brought to the S Pen in the Note 10 yet this year. But whereas in the past, if you wanted a bigger phone, you had to buy, or you had the option to buy, the Note series of phones. The S series of phones was more reasonable in so many ways, sort of an every person phone, whereas the Note series was more of a, very serious, dyed-in-the-wool, productivity or business-minded individual. And that's part of the reason that we've justified that phone for all of this time. But is it really going to be all that different enough to justify its price premium over the S10 Plus and the other Plus series phones in the S lineup? It's getting harder and harder to say yes. I am a lover of the Note series. I have always been a lover of the Note series. I have used the Note series. I think I've had every Note since the Note, and then I skipped a 5. But I've had every other one, and I've really enjoyed them. They do feel different to me than the S series phones. They do feel somehow more substantial. The design is a little bit more squared off. It feels like a different phone. But is it possible that Samsung is, in continuing the Note line, competing with themselves when they could be selling more of the S-series phones? Is the S Pen enough of a reason for the phone to exist when we know that you could get an S10 Plus for a few $100s less than the base Note 10, and the Note 10 Plus is going to be anywhere up to, like, say, $1,200 to start. Those are a lot of dollars. $400 to $500 potentially is a big deal. And are you really getting the benefits that you need in terms of extra usability, extra feature set, extra blah, 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 all that other kind of stuff? In years past, the answer has typically been yes. But this year, the answer is harder to come by. There are a few things that differentiate the S10 Plus and the Note 10. One being that the Note 10, for the first time ever, the Note 10 is a Note series phone that's coming out missing features that the S line of phones have. And that is a really weird precedent to set. The Note line of phones was always like the showcase phone for Samsung and everything that they're doing in that year. We see that they're taking away the headphone jack, which for many people is reason enough not to buy the phone. That we see they're taking away on some models the SD card slot reader, which means no expandable memory. And that's going to be enough to stop some people in their tracks as well. But we've also heard in stories coming out that the engineers at Samsung are saying that the Note series phones are being held back because of all the space that the S Pen takes up. The Note 10 could go further each year if they had that extra space to work with, bigger battery, etc., etc. But if you take away the S Pen, all you have is a bigger S series phone, which the S series Plus phones are plenty big to begin with. So I ask you, is it possible that the Note series of phones has gone from being the cornerstone of Samsung's phones each year to something that may be holding Samsung's phones back in terms of maybe stealing the thunder of the S-series phones when the Note comes out and people are less likely to go buy the slightly older phone because this is the newer phone and we know how people work. People want the new, they want the shiny. I'm somewhat torn here. I love the Note phones, but I can definitely see how the distance between the two lines of phones has closed in recent years. And I wonder if, given the fact that the Note series is now losing features and the pricing is over $1,000 in probably the majority of cases. So has the Note 10 outlived its usefulness to Samsung? It seems like the answer could be yes. As much as I don't want that to be the case, it seems like Samsung could not be doing themselves any favors by releasing another phone that will take away from the phones that they were already selling just 6 months after they announced those other phones. Less than 6 months, maybe about 5 months. But still, a lot of people have asked me if we're going to see the Galaxy Fold at the Note 10 event. You know, supposedly the phone is ready. Supposedly it has tested well. Supposedly they're going to relaunch it. And we've heard that a bunch. But what we hear is it's ready. So are they going to do something at the August 7th Unpacked event that will bring the Galaxy Fold back out? I think that would be a huge mistake, because if you want the Note 10 to succeed, then you don't want to burden it with the PR albatross that the Galaxy Fold phone has been. I think that if you want to bring out the Galaxy Fold in 2019, then you have to do it after the iPhone comes out, after, you know, basically stick it in right before Google releases the Pixel, and then maybe you'll be okay. It could steal some thunder from Google, which Google doesn't need any thunder stolen from them because they don't have much thunder, but that's also a topic for another video. So thinking about it, when you can get an S10e for $650, when you can get an S10 for $800, when you can get an S10 Plus for $900, and there are often many, many sales that are going on from time to time. We just got through a sale on Prime Day that had those phones each $100 cheaper than what I just said. If that's the lineup that Samsung's bringing, then can we justify the Note series coming out a few months later and sort of stealing the thunder? Sure, maybe the August event is where we should be seeing the new foldable lines of phones, if we ever actually see those. It's really hard to say. As a Note lover, I want to say no, but as a pragmatic, think about this from a business standpoint, it's really difficult to say that the Note 10 will be a significantly better phone than the S10 and the S10 Plus, and so therefore it's really difficult to argue that it's worthwhile. In fact, you could make the argument that it's going to be a worse phone because it loses those few features like the headphone jack and in some cases the SD card reader. Basically, the only thing that makes the Note series different is the S Pen, and the S Pen does bring some new features. It does make some things possible. It has a whole bunch of features specific to the S Pen that can really be beneficial to those people who need that. But overall, has the Note 10 outgrown its usefulness? Maybe they could make pen support something that could happen for the S phones. I don't know. What do you think? Let me know down in the comments. This is a really interesting question. Could you live without the Note and just, be satisfied with the S line of phones? Or is the Note something that you absolutely have to have, that you feel is absolutely integral to Samsung's lineup year in and year out? It's getting harder to make that argument, so I'm anxious to hear what you have to say. Thanks so much for being here. I really do appreciate it. If you've not been here before and you want to come on back again, then you can like, subscribe, bell notify, all that stuff. I really would love to see you back. If you're new, tell me hi down in the comments. If you've been here before, tell me hi down in the comments as well. And thank you so much for being here yet again. To recap, once again, my name is Jason, sometimes known as the JTL. This is Painfully Honest Tech. Tech so honest it hurts. Ha! Until the next time, I'm out.